and welcome to the Fatboy FadeAway Sports Podcast, episode 162. I got a happy co-host with me this morning, Tyler Burgurk. How we doing?
I'm thrilled. I was miserable for about 95% of last night. We come through the last 5%. I'm ready to go. Ready for this NFC Championship game next week. Can't wait to see the Lions and the Buccaneers later tonight.
You were right. It was a close game. You were right. You were nervous the whole time about it. Going into it, you were right. It turned out
the Packers are good.
Biter.
They're a good team. They have it all as far as they have young talent. They got weapons. Aaron Jones is phenomenal. I think people forget how good he is when he's healthy because he's always banged up. But he is something else. He was the best back we played all year.
Were you nervous when it was Rady at the very beginning all day?
I was nervous when I saw
he starts with the glove, takes it off.
Saw Brock Purdy throwing duck farts out there that were not normal Brock Purdy throws from what I've seen all year long. And there were times where you're like, who is he even throwing to? Where are these balls even intended to go to?
Yeah.
That was where I got nervous. I was like, I don't know. He played.
And there should have been a couple early. What was I having? Was it the first? Somebody dropped that interception right
Savage.
there. It was yeah, Savage.
Boy, Savage.
Savage. Where were you? I thought that's exactly what it was. Savage.
You don't have hands.
Those lefties, it's good. They can't get interceptions. Savage, who knows what I'm talking about? Three the hard way. They got a show actually today too. Let's get into it. I kind of want to talk with the Niners with you before we kind of get into other things. I mean, that was the big news. It was fun for me. My son was really pumped up. Xavier yesterday hit a buzzer beater 3-pointer. We were up by 5, so it was a rub-in shot to get us up by 8. But he was excited about it. Jumping off, second grade kids. Big deal. So it was awesome yesterday. So he was really into the game, which made the game even more fun. During the game, we're throwing the football and stuff like that. So maybe for a little bit there, Tyler, I was a Niners fan with you a little bit yesterday, rooting for the Niners on the comeback just for his sake. Even though I couldn't really go, all the time with him.
Is there any chance Xavi turns into a 49ers fan with all the success and him having to actually watch relevant football?
No, now that he's getting into Madden too, he's he really knows the players a little bit more, but he's like, I don't know anybody on the Raiders. I was like, Adams. He's like, is that number 17? So at least he's starting to get a little bit more on it. So that part is exciting. But yesterday during the game, so I wanted to kind of go to it earlier. You guys were giving up the deep ball, and you guys were committing a massive amount of PIs.
The footing wasn't there for the 49ers.
The PIs were
they kept falling down, and then Lenore played great in the corner spot next to Ward. Ambry Thomas has got to go. Him, Isaiah Oliver are just god-awful cornerbacks. The 3rd and 15 was that I was like, this is the changing point in the game. This is where we were going to get momentum back. We are going to win this game. They throw up a heave. He even gets his eyes on it, and then he decides to tackle the wide receiver during the play. What are you doing?
What did you make of that? Had to be okay. So, as a fan, you're watching, you're getting ready for a playoff game. You guys have your nerves, right? If you're joining us here, Fatboy FadeAway, Variety Sports Network, be sure to comment in. We're just kind of recapping the Niners Packers game here, that exciting game yesterday, Sunday night. And Debo goes down, and then you're like, oh, it's something. Then it's they're saying it's his shoe, and then the very next time he does go down and he doesn't return, and if he's not in the game, that completely changes your offense. Yep. That had to be weird where you're like, what is going on? They zoomed in on Shanahan, and I don't know what he said, but there was something to the idea with it, what in the world? He was like, what is this? Is this the same thing we're going to deal with again from last year? It just had to be a little flashback for just a second when you saw that.
I mean, as you know, I've told you many of times, Debo's the thing that makes this offense as good as Christian McCaffrey is. He's the best player on the team. Debo makes everything so much easier for Purdy and Shanahan to get mismatches and get guys wide open. And when he went out, you could see it in Shanahan's face, his shoulders, he's out again. I thought we just went in the tent and he came back and he's ready to go. And then halftime, he's not even wearing pads. He comes out in street clothes. Yeah, that was scary. And hopefully he can suit up for this NFC Championship game.
So is this a win, where you credit the thing going into the storyline going in was, can Shanahan, if it's a comeback game in our preview, that's what we talked about yesterday, was if it's a comeback game a little bit, it wasn't a 10-point comeback or something like that, but it was still, you needed a touchdown on the final drive. So that was the bottom line. You needed a touchdown on the final drive, and they got the job done. So I feel, and then you could hear the players, you even see Bosa down, I got the quote, we needed a win like that. We just haven't come from behind in a while. So obviously the players kind of felt some of that too. So maybe this is like that little maybe monkey off the back in a sense that propels you to a Super Bowl. I don't know. We'll see. Like there's usually like one tough game, maybe a couple, but this one, I don't know. What do you make of that?
I mean, it's definitely good to see. It's good to get a win coming from behind. Any win's a big one. I think it's a little overrated. I'd rather win by 20 and be up by 17 in the first half. Like, I don't want to have to come from behind. It's not ideal. I don't think it helps anything except for knowing that you can do it in the future. But outside of that, I really think it's an overrated thing that
so you don't think that means
they played like shit for 3.5 quarters. Like that's not good. I don't think that's where I don't buy into.
I don't know. I feel like there is a little confidence that you can get if you're a comeback team. There is a little bit of or you at least we know this is possible.
No, you're right in that it is something. Now they can look and go back to a time where they had to come from behind.
But it's stressful during the moment.
No, I was miserable. I was like, I don't want to do the podcast.
You don't seem like you were that miserable. The way you're reacting now, you seem like it was just like you had it in the bag.
They won.
Oh, I know, but what was where was the point in the game where you were kind of? I mean, was it really early? Was it
all sorts of them?
Was it the Moody misfield?
It was the way Shanahan handled the end of the first half, where we were running the clock out when we were already barely in field goal range, and we settled for a 48-yarder, knowing Moody's history and what he's done in the past. He did come up big with a big 52-yarder later.
That was a clutch.
I give him credit for that. The way Purdy played, I said on Twitter, I was like, this guy is playing terrible. It was, other than the Ravens game, I've never seen him play like that. In the Ravens game, at least the passes looked like they were going to a player on the Niners if a Raven wasn't there. These were passes where I was like, I don't even know where the ball is supposed to go.
I got to go back to Seaback, though, too, is you were saying, Debo, maybe he does set up the offense better in some regards, but, when you're watching a game like that, there were so many plays where he got 4 or 5 extra yards after where he should have been tackled maybe for maybe he gets a yard or 2, but he made it 5. His agility and balance is insane. And his little and his feet stay close together. I'm like, how does he keep his feet? He hops he really is unreal. Some of his ability to just get a couple extra yards. Lenore lit up a receiver. I forget who it was. He lit up. He lit up number 13. He lit him up on that one. So that was a big hit for you guys. That was a big play for you guys. Ayuk, what do you think of him with Debo going on? Do you feel like he kind of stepped up, or you feel like this was a game where you wanted more?
He was kind of a no-show till the last end of the game. In the fourth quarter, he stepped up, but before that, he was a no-show. But I put that more on Brock Purdy and Shanahan. That catch he made on third down was the play of the game. That was 3rd and 6. He dives. Purdy puts it where only he can get it. He goes to the ground with a guy on top of him and somehow came away with the catch. I give him all the credit. He's a good player.
I don't know why I took all these notes. Kittle, I thought he drops that one pass, but I thought he was pretty good yesterday for the most part in the game. The special teams, you guys just, I don't know. You mentioned Moody's 52-yarder, which was obviously a big field goal. But my point, you also gave up that huge kick return to Big Bo Melton, and then you gave up the PI on the 3rd and 15 shortly, which then gave them the lead. So got to clean that up a little bit. We'll see where that goes because that almost cost you the game.
Yeah, I don't know. Shanahan has something where he likes to punt the ball or kick off and keep the ball out of the end zone and try and pin them deeper than the 25. Kick the ball out of the freaking end zone. Let Moody use his leg and then
let him use that 35.
Let your defense go to work. And that's another thing. Speaking of the defense, the D line was god awful.
Yeah, it wasn't great yesterday.
Couldn't stop the run. Had 4 pressures, 4 QB hits, no sacks. Jordan Love does do a good job manipulating the pocket, but just get to the guy. You have Chase Young's been a no-show for the last 6 weeks.
What'd you make of Love playing against him again?
He was good. He's good. He made a couple bonehead plays at the end of the game. Or not even one bonehead play, and then a tipped bad pass for the first Greenlaw interception. He was good, though. I was impressed. I'd like to have him as a quarterback going forward.
Were you yelling like Greg Olsen and the other guy, go down, Greenlaw, go down?
Yes. My God. I was celebrating, and I look over. He's still running across the field. I'm like, what are you doing? Get your ass on the ground.
Those are the plays, you think about that all the time, right? No, you idiot! No.
I thought we were gonna see a Chargers Patriots reenactment
Oh,
when they got
God.
that pick and then fumbled.
Because then you get the first down too. It's like I mean, if there wasn't very much time left, maybe it would have been a lot harder for him. But all he needed was a field goal to tie it up, so
Exactly.
it still would have had a chance. So, yeah, that was exciting. I mean, to me that goes into that Niners Packers classic again. We get another playoff classic, a great uniform matchup always between these teams. For you, maybe a more of a stressful classic because you guys were the number one seed, but at the end of the day, you guys showed a little championship heart there. You got the job done. The defense stepped up at the end when they needed to, but it just wasn't the most impressive game from you guys. Definitely, maybe the rain was more of a factor than we thought. So we'll see what happens there.
There's definitely concerns going forward with this team as far as stopping the run. And the whole in the third cornerback, and the whole right side of the O line is absolutely pathetic.
Yeah, because I mean, like you saw it against the Ravens. Really, if you had to match up against them again, maybe it would be a different game because you saw them, or even against the Bills, that would be a tough matchup. So that'd be tough too. So, so we'll see what happens there in the AFC and who you'll play if you make it that far. But first, you got to deal with either the Lions or Bucks, and you get the winner of that. You want to see the Bucks? I'm assuming.
Oh, I'd love to see the Bucks. But going back to the AFC, we haven't beat any of those quarterbacks since ever. We haven't beat Lamar, we haven't beat Josh Allen, and we haven't beat Mahomes. So, those are the three worst matchups in the whole NFL for us with those three quarterbacks.
All right. So, like I said, you still feel pretty calm to me as a Niners fan this morning. You still feel
we won.
How much was that stress level yesterday? What were you? Where was your head going? Like, were you like Shanahan now is questioned? Is he out of his mind? Like, what's going with this?
No, I don't go that far ever. I kind of see things holistically, and I'm not going to be like, we're going to get a better coach than Shanahan. So I'm never like that. But I'm thinking like, get rid of our D coordinator, get rid of Ambry Thomas, get a corner in, and get a right tackle in. Like, that's where I was like, we have to fix these spots, or we suck. This team is god awful without these positions being filled with different talent.
Right out of your butt, that's my sports, my guy out there. Appreciate you checking in this morning. We hit 1,000 uploads on VSN yesterday. Had to give him a part of that shout out yesterday with it.
Thank you.
Yep, Aaron out there. So yes, Niners Ravens part 2. I think Niners fans. I don't think at this point with who's left in the AFC, it really doesn't matter. You guys are going to get a tough team if you made it that far. Regardless. All right, so the Niners they'll play next week. Probably get the afternoon game is my guess. The night game there, since we'll be out here on the West Coast. So we'll have that one Sunday night for it. Maybe a little Talking to Gridiron special. We get Tyler a little 20-minute appearance down there. Maybe we'll see, folks. But hey, you get the Packers Niners classic again. We get that uniform matchup. Shanahan moves on, gets that win, that comeback win that he was looking for. The Niners, like Bosa says before, we needed it. We got that one there. So, any last final thoughts on that Niners game?
I mean, I'd like to get your thoughts on Jordan Love. And is he still the next great thing, the Aaron Rodgers look-alike, or are you a little more take a step back, take a deep breath?
What are your thoughts on Jordan Love? I didn't see superstar jump out to me. That's not like
the arm wasn't all there. What? Where you like?
But I don't. But I did. What I did like about him is that he's able to. He moves in the pocket really well. Actually.
Yeah, he does.
He kind of feels like a better. I hope it's not an insult, but like I said, maybe a Hall of Famer now if he would have won this year. He kind of feels like a better version of Flacco to me. Like he's got a big arm.
Athletic.
That's what I mean. Like a better version. Like he can kind of. But Flacco wasn't that bad in the pocket. If you he can really move and But that's what I mean. He's better. He's even faster when he gets out. But Love's not running for 30 yards, and Flacco wasn't either. But they both could get 15 yards and stuff like that. But he's even more mobile than that. But he kind of stands tall like him. That's why he kind of reminds me a little bit of him in the pocket. Somebody said Brett Favre. I was I guess because they throw off one leg a lot. But I don't see. I don't know. I didn't see that much kind of wildness in his game.
I don't think his arm is. I never saw any fast. Favre was throwing fastball 80-mile-per-hour slant routes. That
I was impressed with the Packers wide receiver weapon. I Watson, I like him a lot, and we'll see. But I think Love does bring I think you can win a Super Bowl with him, though.
I agree.
I think there's a run. I think there's a world where you could win. I think their defense played well yesterday. I
thought. What's the narrative if Brock Purdy throws 2 picks
he should have
had? Are people saying he should be cut?
No, he shouldn't be cut, but he's going to take a lot of Twitter heat. We know that. He's going to
not cut, obviously not cut, but
he's not getting rid of him. No, he's not getting rid of him, but it just kind of feeds the narrative that you hate, which is this guy is not that good.
Yeah.
And yesterday, you even admitted he wasn't that good.
Oh, he was terrible.
We'll see how if he plays again like that and it's not a rainy day, you'd have to be a little bit more concerned.
I mean, absolutely.
I'm not saying
going forward.
I'm just saying if you're winning a Super Bowl, you need to be better than 21 points possibly. So that's all I'm saying. So that's part of it. But like I said, final drive. That's where he makes. You know what I mean? That's what people are going to remember. So he got a touchdown there. How about my team, Pierce? They did the haircut. Did he do the right thing? Did he sign him? I was thinking when you're like, somebody was like, should they have Harbaugh? Should they get Harbaugh instead? I was like, well, Harbaugh will eventually win, but it feels like it's going to be such a short period of time. And then like you're restarting a little bit of new program and stuff like that, a whole new one again. The players seem to be behind Pierce. So I don't know. I think Pierce is the right hire for right now. I think it's better than going out. Just give him a year and maybe you make a mistake. But he obviously proved that he could get better too. I mean, he took over, in like such a short time, with no really expectations or anything, which sometimes helps. And like you said, maybe there was this motivation of Haiti McDaniels almost that helped him a little bit too. So we'll see how he does hiring his new staff. He got Marvin Lewis.
Good old Marv.
Jordan was right.
Marv will make the playoffs. I'll do in the playoffs. But I like the hire as far. I mean, it's kind of short-sighted as far as like the players being galvanized by him, but you don't want to piss off the players either. So I understand the hire. I wouldn't. It was the right thing to do at this point. I think they should have kept Rich Biacca or whatever the hell the guy's last name is 3 years ago. I think that was the mistake that you guys made.
Biacchi, right? I always that's what I was like.
Biacchi, that sounds.
That's why I like to call it. Is that? Do you have a B on your cup? Is that what?
Exactly.
I ran out of coffee cups before. I got this massive one with you. I was like, oh gosh.
It holds more coffee. It's either that or coffee. It's a good coffee.
It's either that or I was coming out with a Christmas tree coffee cup, and I was afraid that we'd have 2 Christmas trees out here.
No, I got rid of my Christmas tree. If you want to take a look real quick.
Our guy Jay from out of the other sports show, he was mentioning that. My gosh, Tyler still has his tree up. So no, he's got it down now. He's got the tree down in the background. I think your brother probably will like the hire too for the most part. Pierce, I think he'll be a fan of that one. I don't know. Most Raiders fans are going to be good with it. Like I said, they just got to get better. Their talent, the O'Connell part, we'll see what they do at quarterback. They're going to bring somebody in. I just don't want it to be a terrible contract quarterback. Let's just we need other things still. So we'll see what happens there.
Would you be happy with a Gardner Minshew coming in?
Yeah, I guess that would be fine. Something like that. I'd be all right. But I know
or a Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I'm starting to turn on. I'm starting to be a little bit more towards Taylor. At first, I wasn't like that's my sports said, but I'm starting to I can see Taylor a world with it, like where you just have 3 guys and you just play Russian roulette with them every week. I just think they need to get other areas better, but you do have Adam, so it's like if there's a world where you can get a quarterback, Jameis Winston, should we get him in?
What are the spots they need to improve on that to give Antonio Pierce the best chance of winning? Obviously, quarterback needs something. But outside of that, the defense looked pretty good. The
defense was a lot better. I thought the defensive line for the first year really showed up this year. So they have now they actually have a little depth there. I still think they need more linebackers. I will always say that. And I think they need safeties. They lack a safety, like was one that makes those special picks and kind of leads the defense differently than I feel like that always kind of takes the defense to another level when you have that 3rd level defender that's a superstar. On the back end. I don't know. For me, that's always like a comforting thought when you have somebody like that. I would ask Adams, who would watch that QB. Adams would be like, Derek Carr.
The Raiders be comfortable bringing Carr back.
We are not comfortable bringing Carr back, Adam. The fan base is not comfortable. I mean, like I said, 88, 98 is what we finished this year without him, too. So, I don't know. I think that's kind of where we're at again, but we'll see what quarterback we'll see what's out there in the market. We'll see what's out there in the draft. Yeah. Maybe there's a world where they trade up. Would you want to spend
that 1st-round pick on a quarterback like Dyson or the guy from LSU?
I'd be fine with Caleb Williams.
I bet.
I'd be fine with him out there at quarterback. I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Raiders. There's a long offseason ahead, though. Again, have not won a playoff game since 2003 versus the Titans. Steve McNair playing for them. Eddie George, Frank. I mean, my goodness, that's a long time. That's a long time to wait without a playoff win. Lions, they got it last week. Eminem was everywhere. Detroit, NBC really was saying, Eminem, help us out. We need you to do a lot of Can you do the hype video for us? Can you be at the game for us? I mean, he's really. I wonder if he's making any money off of it or if he's.
I doubt it. He's a big Detroit fan. He always has been.
I
haven't seen him on social media.
That intro?
Oh, maybe the intro, yeah, for sure. I mean, if he's doing working for a corporation, but I haven't seen him on social media that much. Even when he makes a CD, he doesn't even promote it like he promotes the Lions.
They do CDs still.
Or whatever, an album.
The stick, the fire stick. The fire sticks. Eminem has been everywhere for it, though, in Detroit. They had some cool pictures with, like, Sanders and Calvin Johnson and a couple other people there from Detroit. It's good to see them have a little success. It made me jealous, though, as a Raiders fan. It did make me a little jealous seeing them celebrate. Just one win in a playoff would be nice again. Just one. That'd be nice to say in my lifetime, right? It's hard to believe. I was 19. That's insane to think about that. That's the last time they won a playoff.
2003.
And your team's made the NFC Championship like what? 4 out of the last 5 years?
4 last 5 years.
Insane. So that's just the way it goes in the sporting world. Anything NFL wise? You got Bills or Chiefs today?
I got the Bills. I think they're gonna just be more physical enough. It's gonna be a good game. I don't know why they're gonna win. I like Josh Allen. I don't like Mahomes, so I'm going Bills. I think they're pretty evenly matched. They both have.
What did he say to Allen again at when they lost or something? Or when they remember you met him at half.
He said that was a penalty or something.
It's a terrible call.
I can't get behind Mahomes. He's like, I don't know.
Hey, we're gonna be on live the last 6 minutes of the game. That will be fun. We got a lot of views last week on Talking the Gridiron, and so I'm hoping that we'll have a lot of interaction in a close game. They usually play close games. Probably will go to overtime.
No, it's gonna be a good one.
What do you think about the fans having to shovel snow? I don't get the big deal. I actually I didn't want to post it on Twitter. It was too long. I couldn't fit it. I'm not blue checked, so I don't get that many characteristics. I was thinking that. To me, remember we had this conversation a month ago about like fans and like this uniqueness of it's a real stadium in a sense. Still, like there is like this bond between the team and the fan base. I don't know. For me, it's not a big deal that the fans shovel snow. If they want, they jump off mountains to land on a table that's on fire. These people can shovel snow for a few hours to work off the teddies. They're fine in the cold. I don't know. Like to you, is it I don't find it even a big deal. I don't live in the snow, but it's like if fans want to shovel the snow, I don't see it a big deal.
No, I think it's like it brings the fans together. They're getting paid $20 an hour. That's not a bad rate. As a 19-year-old kid, I would have gone and shoveled some snow. Maybe not from Northern California, but
I'm gonna hit my section first.
If I was used to the snow, I'd shovel for $20 an hour back in the day. I mean, I was making like $8.50 when I was 18.
But me and you, to be fair, have never been in Buffalo Cold. So
no, that is true too. I don't know if I could handle it.
You're all. Did you see that video I had on Talking the Gridiron last week? And you might have saw it on social media, where that guy's going down that like the snow sled basically at the stadium. You know, where they shovel snow and it brings it down from the seats, and the guy rides it down to push down the snow. I was like, my gosh, people! He has his shirt off. Insane. So,
how many teddies was he in? How many teddies did he get?
There's at least probably 12 teddies. Probably at least
12
maybe
back down.
12 back down did already. So, anyways, you got that. You got Lions beating the Bucks then.
Yeah, I think the Lions handle the Bucks. The Bucks leave a lot to be desired. I mean, I'm not a big baked potato fan. And I'm not a big golf guy either, but I like what I saw from them against the Rams. I think the Rams were one of the 4 best teams in the NFC, and they're not there. So
you don't take them serious. Yeah, the Ravens beat the Texans yesterday, so that's your NFL kind of thing there. But Big Niners come back yesterday.
Big time.
He survives. TMB will have something to talk about. Oh, I was going to tell you, it's still funny to me on your at Tyler McGurk X page that you have you have like at TMB, and I told you this. If you click on that, it takes you to this Tea and Biscuit podcast. You haven't changed your actually ad on there, so it doesn't.
It goes the Fatboy FadeAway.
No. On your Twitter page, if you go to Tyler McGurk, I'll bring it up here at the end. I'll show you that. But if you go to it, it comes up as Tea and Biscuit. It's going to send you to some ladies from 2021 page. I don't know what it is. I don't know why that. It always cracks me up. I'm always like, I can't believe he's never changed this to where people don't take him to Tea and Biscuits. That's always just kind of
Tea and Biscuits has now gone defunct.
This is the page that you go. Watch it. Take your new page. I'm a co-host of Fatboy FadeAway, host of the Tea and Biscuits pod. I'm like, is Tyler doing something I'm not aware of? Is he hosting?
I'm doing God's work. I'm giving these ladies. Don't say I never say I'm misogynistic. I care about the ladies. I want them to be heard as well.
I thought that was great though. All this time, yeah, I was trying to tell you that, and I thought maybe at this point you were just leaving it up.
I have no idea. I know. I mean, I did know. You told me before.
Well, it's good stuff there. It's still there. Hey, C Wood, what's up out there? Congrats on the dub last night.
Thank you.
Got the win last night. Got
Big
the
dub.
win. Out there in Alabama, always a lot of news after the offseason if they don't get a win, national championship. So I always get a kick out of that stuff, like because I always follow C Wood on Twitter. And there's always I'm like, how does this college program have this much? And I have a note for this week of how bad Cal and Stanford suck, and we just like it's just the idea of like these two teams. Like when I post these old pictures, I'm like, Cal and Stanford had like legit basketball programs. Like maybe Cal wasn't like making the Sweet 16 every year, but they were in the tournament for the most part every year or every other year, right? And then Stanford always had like top 1, top 2. And I'm like, how does Alabama create 365 days of college noise? It blows my mind. It does. I have no idea how that takes place. So see you and hope everything's going out there. Doing good for you out there. Your Rockets, they're still ahead of my Warriors in the standings as well.
That's not saying much.
We'll get to the Warriors here in a little bit. So I hope everything's going good with you, my friend. All right. So as we were kind of talking about the NFL, moving into the Warriors, the Nick Saban effect. Yes, the Nick Saban effect is real. We'll see. It's very real. Maybe he comes back. Go to Cal.
Yeah, how do you think Nick Saban would handle the liberal and hippies and
Could you imagine Nick Saban?
The protesters at midfield. How would that go over with Nick Saban?
He comes from an LSU program, an Alabama program, and then he goes all the way out to the West
hippies of Cal.
Oh, that would be good. That would be a classic right there. Maybe he'll get more relaxed like Don Nelson at his times. Maybe he'll get more relaxed like Don out there.
Got good guns out here.
Warriors, though, they haven't played basketball in over a week now because obviously the tragedy is the passing of their.
They played on Monday.
Of their assistant coach. I don't know. It's nothing really to just life is bigger than sports. Obviously, you will see how it affects the team on the court. He would adapt, yes, he would adapt. But we'll see how it affects the team. Moving forward, some of the players tweeted about it. So obviously, if he's around, going on flights with you, you know somebody, you're going to start to build a connection. Especially if you've been on the team for the last 3 years, that's even going to be more the case. So, it'll at 46, I'm like, my gosh, I'm 39. It's like in a heart attack. So you do kind of think about that stuff a little bit too. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's just sad. The Raptors coach drew some play up that was in. I can't pronounce the last guy of this guy's playbook. He drew a play up. Milojevic. Hit a 3-pointer. I just lost my boss to a massive heart attack at like 55, and it blew my socks away. Like January 2nd, we go back to work. I get a call. He's at work. He works the whole day. Yeah. I get a call when I get home from work. Boss has passed away. Jeez. Massive heart attack. I was like, what the hell? Like, it's so stunning. Like, and I couldn't imagine. Like, I've only known him for like a year and a half, 2 years, and knowing the guy for 3 years, and you're on planes with him every day. You're with him for like 6 months of the year. I don't know. It's heartbreaking.
Obviously, I work with like kindergarten through 8th grade students, right? So it's very hard at that age to put time into perspective, right? It's like it's hard to gain wisdom at such a young age, right? There's that Benjamin. It's like as you got that saying, right? As you get older, you gain your wisdom. It'd be nice to have that in your youth, but. Yeah. So as you're trying to explain it to him, I always try to tell him at the end of the day, like wherever you fall faith-wise, you only get an allotted amount of time, and you never know what's guaranteed. You're probably guaranteed. You're guaranteed nothing. That's what people forget. Like you're not owed any special amount of time. You get what you get. There's healthy people. There's accidents. There's this. There's that. And so we'll see how the Warriors rally around from a basketball standpoint. They obviously are not playing good basketball at this point right now. So we'll see if maybe from a unity standpoint, this maybe brings them a little bit closer together. But hard not to even reflect on your own life a little bit when you have tragic passings like that.
Yeah, stuff. As far as basketball goes, the Warriors aren't any good. They're bad.
Do you think that? And now you had Siakam go to the Pacers, where they were rumored to possibly get him a little bit, right, with Wiggins and maybe Moody and Kuminga going to Toronto. I've been saying Murray from the Hawks would be a good fit for the Warriors, but I haven't heard any rumors about him in it. All I'm thinking is Mike Dunleavy hates the Warriors franchise.
He had one great moment.
Mike Dunleavy hates the Warriors. He's doing everything to take off your shirt, rip it off. Like, let's go, get that fire in your belly again. Let's go. And then Chris Paul's hurt. I was thinking maybe like would you do a Paul for Connolly switch with the T-Wolves? Would they do something like that? Probably not. But I don't know. We'll see what they do. But they're running out of options because there's not many players out there that's going to help them now.
There's not. I don't think Siakam would have helped them. I think they're dead in the water. They have nothing outside of Curry.
What? This is what I said to you a couple weeks ago when I said to you, it's not just about this year. They have to think about next year too. What are they just going to suck again?
Siakam had 1 year on his contract. There's no guarantee he'd come back to this trash. Why would you want to come back to this?
So maybe it's not Siakam, but what do they do? Like, are they just going to be? They're going to be stuck again next year, basically, right?
You build the young guys. That's the only option you have at this point. If you're not going to trade for anybody who's going to help you this year or next, like who are you getting that's going to help you next year? You just have to help the young guys get better and then draft good players. This year they got at least 2 serviceable.
So you're not going to trade for a star right now. You're not going to trade for somebody that could be on your team next year or something.
Maybe what star?
Zach LaVine.
No, I'm not trading for Zach LaVine. I'm not giving up Kuminga for Zach LaVine. No.
Come on, Tyler.
You would do that? There's no way.
Have a little faith in Zach. Come on.
I don't have faith in this. That was the worst part about the Niners.
How about Kuzma? Can we get a little Kuzma out there?
Are we giving up Wiggins? I'll give up Wiggins for Kuzma.
I'm
not giving up Kuminga.
Bridges.
All right, we're talking. We'll take Bridges.
Little Bridges talk there. All right.
We need a defender. We played Memphis on Monday. We didn't get to talk about this game yet. The weirdest box score I've ever seen. It shows how bad this Warriors defense is. The freaking Grizzlies shoot 54 3-pointers. 54. They get to the line 40 freaking times. How do you shoot 54 free throws and get 54 3-pointers and shoot 40 free throws? You can't guard anybody, and you can't protect the rim. Because when they go to the rim, you foul. And you're giving up 54, like, decent-looking three-pointer. They shot 38% from 3.
It's pathetic.
They're bad. There's nothing more to it.
I'd be right down there. And like you said, like, Looney can't move his – it was funny when I posted that video about the Grizzlies thing. You're like, they can't lose to the Grizzlies. You're like, yeah, they can. And then they lose to a G League team basically out there. Like, a lot of these guys were just pulled up a couple weeks ago. That tells you how bad of a spot the Warriors are in right now. How bad of a spot they're in. So – that's kind of what it's looking like from the Warriors standpoint there. Rockets, like I said, see what your Rockets still ahead of them in the 11 seed. Can your Rockets get in? I'm hoping. Like the Jazz still, I can't believe it. They're still in there. The Kings have dropped out of the top 6, so they need to start. The Pelicans have jumped into the top 6. So we'll see what happens there with it. Ant, getting some Jordan talk. Missed those free throws last night. You have to go back and watch if you know what I'm talking about, people. So that happened there. He's still a hell of a player. Of course. So, a little NBA stuff. Did you see Sports Illustrated no more?
Yeah, it's sad. That like as a child, when I first learned to read, that's the first thing. Like I'd go in like at 7 years old, I'd go wake up, go find the Sports Illustrated, read it with my dad, talk about what was going on in sports, and that was like and the newspaper, but Sports Illustrated especially because they had better pictures. And now it's no longer, and it's just like my dad stopped getting it a year ago, I think, or a year and a half ago. It's a sad day for sports. Like people don't understand like how big a Sports Illustrated cover was for a guy's career and a certain marketing aspect.
Oh, absolutely. That was, I mean, LeBron, remember when he was on Sports Illustrated? Like that was a big deal for us, right? I was
the chosen one.
Freshman, I was a C, or maybe you were in 8th grade actually. And I think I was a junior when that came out. So, I mean, you're right. And then you posted this picture being one of your favorite ones here on Barry Bonds, and you're not. I remember as a kid, I have it like I think I'm like 4 years old. I saw somebody post it too about it's the one where Will Clark he's like on there with it too. So I had that one, like my 4-year-old with the Easter on there with it. So it is one of those things where like I think it's almost like the newspaper. I used to, even as a kid, and we're not like that old, like we're not like 80, but the newspaper was a big deal where you'd get it. I'd read through the sports section. I'd look at the box scores. I would do all that stuff. So that part of that is missed a little bit, and that younger generation I don't know, like they're going to miss out on some of this purity. Yeah, it's gone. It's out. And I even did Sports Illustrated for kids. I remember my mom would give me like those things too. So that was always a big deal. I still have some of those in my house. I should maybe now they're going to be a big deal. No, they're not. But you get my point. Like, I still have them. A piece of paper, a big deal. But maybe there's a classic one I could keep. But I don't know. You're right. It's just part of my childhood, a little bit gone, but also just part of our news and our whole world a little bit. That's going to be changed that our kids won't know about.
There's like it bonded my family in a way. Like obviously it was more sports than Sports Illustrated, but Sports Illustrated helped bring me and my brothers. My dad would do quizzes with us based on like things in Sports Illustrated. Oh, who has the most hits this year? Or with the newspaper or anything like that. Whatever was the big story going on. And it just like I'd build collages with the photos. I'd cut them out and I'd rip them up and then put them on my wall, put some tape, and my parents would get pissed. And I put tape on the paint, but you just live and you learn.
So they were so a lot. Are you telling me a lot of swimsuit models went up on the wall? No, that's exactly what I see when we're on the same page there with that.
They're saving. Those were for my school binders.
Those were for my school binder. Here's some of them kind of as we go through it. I remember the Vince Young one as well right there. I do remember that one out there. And like you said, it's been around for so long that you have like iconic pictures. The Tiger Woods one, obviously, the soccer one, Brady Chastain. So yeah, just a lot of like big moments that were covered. That was definitely the swimsuit though. Yeah, so on the wall, a lot of those were right there. Local library. I've never been. Why is everybody going to the library that set the first week of the month right there? In the library, definitely was a big part of my childhood for sure. And a lot of guys were journalists made their mark at Sports Illustrated. Like those were articles you would read. Like, what's the guy that still covers the NFL? Remember this. I remember I took this marketing class. That was always a big deal. The Cub, like. You notice how on a men's magazine they put cowboy smoking, a cigarette. I'm like, yeah, I do. Of course, something like that with like 4 women on your shoulders. So you got that with smoking a cigarette at the same time. So you have that with it. But I don't know, like it's just one of those like kind of classic articles, and like the guy I was gonna say Peter King, the NFL guy. Nope. He used to write
Rick Riley.
Some of those guys, the Rick Riley or Peter King. Madden Bus one is one I remember the most. So, a lot of good stuff. I'm gonna definitely go through a little bit more of it. I said, I know my parents have a few old ones. So when I go over there next, I'm gonna probably definitely just take an old look at what they used to look like in some of what I actually had there with it. So, yeah, big part of the childhood gone with that.
It's probably gonna be like our Life magazine that our parents had. Like my parents used to show me these Life magazines, and I was like, "What the heck is?"
Life magazine. What was it was a Newsweek. That was one. Maybe they still have that one. But you're right. Life was out there for a while. That's one that was a big deal if you were on Life.
Yeah, my parents have a bunch of them still in like this like container up in the attic. I was like, I bet the spiders will go and do that now.
They're gonna be worth millions. Yeah, exactly. You tell that to your.
Like, you treated them like shit, but all bent up and.
You write that to Bentley. There's a secret stash of a lot of money. Sports Illustrated magazines, and we have Life magazines. Don't worry about them being bent at all. It's like the Dave Chappelle joke where he told the stand-up where he tells the family, if I die, there's a book with all my jokes. He's like, oh yeah, if you just read them, you'll be fine. You should be able to make money. I thought that was good. So Sports Illustrated. Good night. So I wonder what is the last? Is it the Deion Sanders? Is that the last cover? I got to look up which one will be the last cover.
I have no idea what was the last cover.
That'll be interesting. So all theirs, they'll probably still be online, I'm guessing. I don't know. We'll see what they do with how they start covering things on the Sports Illustrated.
I think it's done. I think they fired every employee. I don't think there's even a domain online anymore for it.
I just went on Sports Illustrated for covers. They had that other. We were speaking of Sports Illustrated. Tiger, Nike, they break up. A rarity. You don't see that. Little.
Shocking. Is he still going to wear Nike clothes? What clothes do you think he comes out wearing?
LLB. They're so comfy.
Lululemon.
Oh God. Uggs all time. He's got Uggs out there on the course. Yeah, Uggs cleats. They're very comfy. Helps his foot. Softens the blow to the knee. He's got Uggs out there. Bug boots. I don't know where he's gonna go.
I wonder if a golf guy could do a golf guy could do like a NASCAR shirt with like 800 logos on it that just gets you paid.
Let's be sponsored up.
But yeah, where does Sports Illustrated go? Or where does Nike go? Or not Nike? Where's Tiger Woods go?
I don't think. Yeah, it's just odd because that was like such a big deal when he signed with them, right? Everybody started buying Nike clubs. Like Nike wasn't even a thing, really, golf wise, until he came on.
No.
And that was kind of like when we were both starting golf a little bit around that time, right?
Yeah.
Nike club. Everybody knew Nike because of Jordan at that time and the NBA side of it. So then it came to the golf side, and Nike just spiked. Everybody was into their clubs, buying their clubs. I remember something. I got the Nike club. Yeah, I was like,
remember the Nike ball? I feel like the Nike ball was the bigger. Like, I found a Nike ball. Now I find a Nike ball. Like, yeah, I don't even want it really. It's not that big of a deal. But that swoosh just sells. Like, it's a clean logo that has so many attachments to it, so much like history in sports. If you put it on anything, it's gonna do fine. And the Nike golf clothing is where they really made their hay. Like the Nike hat, the Nike shirt. That's where I feel like they really flourish in golf.
I didn't see that movie. Did you ever see that one on the Jordan Nike thing?
No, I didn't.
I gotta watch it. I heard there was. I don't think there's really any Jordan moments in it.
No, Jordan's not in it.
So
they showed the back of his head in a meeting, supposedly.
So he's like Steinbrenner from Seinfeld. That's just all you're gonna get. All right, so we have that Tiger. They get the split there. Just a little interesting news. Giddy not charged, NBA side. Last thing there, a lot of people not liking that with the hair getting charged there. Chet got his jersey retired. Oh, there are some funny comments though in those comment sections. If you follow on Twitter, when Chet Holmgren was getting his jersey retired at his high school. If anybody knows the Giddy situation, you can look it up. Obviously, but some of the comments in there were like, "He's under the bleachers," stuff like that. So like, it's kind of funny to think about. It's like people ripping on him, no mercy on him. So. That going on with him too. Hall of Fame ballot, MLB. I talked about this is the week it comes out. This is where I start to get. I always get fired up once a year about the Hall of Fame ballot. What is it about? I guess because I'm such a big baseball person. I'll speak for myself that sometimes I don't understand what we're doing, and so that kind of so I don't know who we're picking at times. So these are the guys that are on the list. Probably your top guys are Helton, Wagner, Jones, Sheffield, Beltran, Rodriguez. Man, you got the list there. So we'll see who gets in. You get up to 10 ballot or 10 picks. I don't know, T. Will be interesting who gets in. I'm feeling like Adrian Beltre is going to get in the way a lot of people are talking. To me, I don't know. He doesn't feel like a first-time Hall of Famer to me, though, at all.
No, he was good. He was great. He was not great. He was good. He was really good. And at times he was good.
He's a Hall of Famer. He's just not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, exactly. I think Todd Helton should get in. Andrew Jones, A-Rod, and Manny Ramirez are the guys who I look at this list and I go, they're the Hall of Famers.
Now, how about Maurer? Not play long enough.
He's close. I wouldn't. Has he been on the ballot before? I wouldn't put him in first.
No, this is his first time.
I think he should get in eventually.
Okay, how about the guys that's been on the longest? Sheffield.
I would. He's not a Hall of Famer.
Oh, man, I feel like he is. When he played, I felt like he was a game changer.
He definitely. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be.
If Fred McGriff is in, I don't know.
Fred McGriff shouldn't be in. I don't have Fred McGriff in my Hall of Fame. So
5 of the homers, McGriff not it. That's surprising. No accusation of roids. You don't have McGriff in. The crime dog, unreal.
Like three All-Star appearances.
Big crime dog.
No MVPs. Nothing. I don't know. He just played for 22 years.
No, I think crime dog's in. I think Sheffield's in too. Yeah, I just don't see him as a first ballot though. He was good. I think a lot of people just forget like those Seattle years were not good. They were not good. It was not good baseball for him for a while. So, but Texas, he went to Texas and saved his career. Really, he just he was always good at defense. Like that was always his strength. But and he came in. That was the thing too with him. He came in so young into the league there too. So, so you got him Wagner 9 years. He's probably the next guy. A lot of people think Wagner. No, you're not a Wagner guy.
Those playoff stats you pointed out to me are just too pathetic.
So I always say, to me, that Wagner Frankie Rodriguez debate is interesting. Like to me, if I don't know. They're like, to me, they're pretty even. Like, it's like, I know their stats aren't like right on the money, but pretty darn close. To be honest, and they both play the same position. It'll be interesting if one gets in and the other one doesn't. Like, that to me won't make much sense. So that's how I feel about it. So Rodriguez was better in the postseason, though. So
yeah, I always like off the top of my head, I always thought Wagner was better, but those postseason numbers you're pointing out to me, they're not going to leave my head ever. Like, I'm like, this guy was a bum, and when it mattered most, and he played on some good teams as well. And,
all right, I just want to get a couple more with you here. Beltran, Utley,
Carlos
Rollins.
Hold on, Beltran was involved with the hitting the garbage can.
He's out.
He's out.
Okay, Torrey Hunter and Andrew Jones.
Andrew Jones should get in before Torrey Hunter, but I think Torrey Hunter is more well-liked and would get in before him.
All right, and the last one for you, Andy Pettitte.
No, Andy Pettitte.
A Yankees legend.
I'm not saying he's not going to get in. He's not in my Hall of Fame.
Astros legend made it to the Hall of Fame. He's probably the Astros Hall of Fame somewhere. I would go Wagner, Astros, and Phillies.
I think Andy Pettitte probably leads MLB history in the most mound visits in playoff baseball. I think that's what I think of Andy Pettitte. Always Jorge Posada going out to give a mound visit.
No, I always think about the guy's like talking to himself in there. What a pickoff move! What a pickoff. Was one of the best. I like Bartolo's a first timer on here. James Shields, he's on the list. My gosh, but he's on there. He's on there.
I think it's hard to be remiss not to mention Joe Buck and Tim McCarver. I think they're getting in this year.
Oh gosh, Tim.
The Cardinals will be happy.
I'm okay with Tim McCarver getting in. Joe and Buck, me and you just aren't fans of Big Buck. So I hope Beltran doesn't get in as a first timer. That's all my thing, especially when you got. And like I said, I think A-Rod should even be in. I don't really care about this, so that's all that matters. The mound visit, yes, there's quite a bit of mound visits. Thank goodness that part. I'm glad we don't have anymore. So I like going out to that. We have the system on our watch. We can tell this.
Can we just get Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame to make this relevant again? That's all. I don't care about the Hall of Fame until Barry Bonds gets. Yeah, and Clemens, all of them, even A-Rod.
696 home runs. There's like Bond does the most ever. Like, nah, and you know what? Our morals are too great here. And then it's like, what? Like we say, you have Bud Selig in the Hall of Fame. I mean, what are we talking about here? Like, really, honestly, like that's to me what matters the most.
Jimmy Fox, Ty Cobb. You got all sorts of not very nice people.
James Shields could get in that trade, the Tatis trade, right? He was part of that. That's what he gets in. Big news. Until Bonds gets in, yep, exactly. It's just it doesn't make it relevant. The Pete Rose one's a little different for me. Yeah, I still need to get into, but like I don't know. It's a museum at the end of the day. Just put the best players in. Like they're gonna have their 20 minutes of fame, and I don't know. Barry Bonds he was a Hall of Famer before any of this too. So it's crazy what they're doing with that. So. Me and you always got to get a little baseball in with it. Yeah. Omar Vizquel, I'm sorry, I don't think he should be in there too. So I'm not a Omar.
I loved Omar. Omar was one of my favorite players, but he's not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, because that's just not a game changer type of feel.
If you look at his stats offensively, they're pretty similar to Ozzie Smith outside of steals. And Ozzie Smith's in. And defensively, Ozzie was a little more flary, but Omar had it too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ozzy's team won a little bit more.
Ozzy's better.
Yeah, it was like what I mean. If you watch some of his highlights there, I mean, Omar's are good too, but Ozzy's are insane as well. So, put Pete Rose in, put the other guy, the White Sox guy too. Put him in there. Put in Joe. Let's get them all in. His great grandson with the speech. We do it, so we got all that. So we get everybody in the Hall of Fame now. Manny should be in, all these guys. And David Ortiz, a first-time Hall of Fame. Remember, he last year, first ballot, insane to me. I'm sorry.
He almost got murdered. He was robbed and put him in.
He survived. So I just can't believe he was first ballot last year. So that blows my mind with it. All right, so those are my kind of my thoughts of the sporting world this week. If you like I said, we got to talk to Cal Stanford second as well. Some other things that went up. I'm changing my title at work, so I was doing intern principal work. So now I'm vice principal because now we're kind of taking over. So kids are always like, "Do you feel like are you losing? Do you feel like you lost your job?" Stuff like that. I always find it funny, like with these answers. I'm always like, in my head, I'm always like, Like,
Shut up, kid.
but I'm always like, no, man, like we're working, that's the point of it. Like, there's give and take with these things. Like, so it's hilarious working with Kate to rate some of the questions I get over there. No, I'm not upset about it. I'm a team player. We can work together here. I wasn't hired on anyways to do that stuff. So it's just funny some of the things that come up during the week. Some of the
Could you imagine the audacity of an adult coming up and asking? That's the best. Like the wisdom of kids is just not very high.
So I mean, sometimes some people will ask you like in a different way, like how you feel about it. That's different, like than the way a kid will just be like, or I'm like talking a game about dodgeball rules, and hey, Mr. Brian, how do you feel about this? And I'm like, what? That's not the
not the time.
All right. So I had that come up during the week, and I had this thing like I don't know what. I know I don't want to go too much on a tangent. I know we've been talking mostly sports, but I know we all play. I know me and you play travel sports, but like it feels different now. I feel like I feel like it's grander than it was before. Like I just notice a lot of people. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of time a lot of time that goes into like just having to travel. And like when I think about like even the time I spent, probably how a lot of it was unnecessary. Like weekends doing like things, or like why go up to Crescent City for one soccer game and then come back? Which is like the top of California, basically. You know what I mean? Which is a 7-hour drive me and your brother made, Kyle, to one game there and then back in the same day. Like my point, I don't know. Some of these things, I'm always like, I watch it and like I can respect it, but at the same time, I'm always like, I don't know. It's a lot sometimes, and I just wonder what sacrifices. I don't know. It's just been on my mind.
Was it not worth it? You look back on it and go, maybe I would have rather stayed home and not done it. Like as a kid, I just see my kid played so many video games, and like I'm like I'd rather. I mean, I don't want to drive to Crescent City. Don't get me wrong. That seems like a complete waste of time. But like doing travel ball with Bentley, it feels less grand. There's less tournaments. The tournaments aren't as like organized. Maybe as a kid,
you have to put into it.
Maybe as a kid, I just didn't realize how unorganized it was because the adults took care of it. But now I'm like, this is a mess. Like I don't know. What did you ask me though?
I was just gonna say, how much money do you spend on travel, like, or if you don't mind?
I don't. I just put my check into the account. And Emily didn't use it up how it goes.
Emily, where are you at? How much are you spending?
I have no idea what.
Emily,
too much.
But
it's also Sebastopol, and Sebastopol is really liberal hippie. Nothing against the liberal. I have liberal views as well as conservative views.
That's what Sebastopol is.
Yeah, exactly. It's very.
But I have like some people like I know that are spending like $10,000 on like volleyball.
No,
yeah, like trap and like going to like I think some people like I saw this like all my years as people go to Marin for the traveling sports. Like I was thinking like, man, getting home at 9 and then having to do it, like that would be a lot. You know what I mean? So, but I guess that's what you do with high school sports, and I get that, and I get the routine of it. But I don't know. So it's just sometimes I'm like, when is it too much, and maybe it's more when is it too young? Maybe that's more where
that's probably better. I agree.
At 6 or 7, you're doing that. So, anyways, that was kind of on my mind during the week a little bit. All right. Winner losers of the week. Can I start out with my loser because I want to go a little bit with it for a little bit? The A's possibly going to Sacramento or Salt Lake City. I mean, we continue to say John Fisher's a big loser. MLB, what a clown show this is. Like, why are we just not forcing this loser to sell his team and making Las Vegas an expansion team? Now, Las Vegas, for a team that's going into a city, you don't really get this feeling that Las Vegas is super pumped for it. You know what I mean? Like, and even I've heard guys on the Sacramento radio because they went through this with the Kings where they're like, yeah, like it'd be good to have MLB baseball here, but it doesn't feel right. You know, Sacramento's pretty close to Oakland. So there's this kind of, I don't know, like this is to me one of the biggest clown shows in MLB history.
It is a clown show. I mean, it's Mr. Fisher.
Salt Lake City Athletic.
It's not good for it's baseball in a vacuum. That's just what happens like in baseball. It's unorganized. They don't do what's best for the fans ever. It's always what's best for the owners. They don't do even what's best for the players unless they get strongholded into it by the best union in the history of unions. The A's at least Sacramento, Oakland fans could still enjoy the team. I don't know if they'd even want to as Fisher being the owner. Like, it's just a big
I think
shit
A's fans would feel like Sacramento burned us.
I mean, I don't know. You stuck with them in Vegas, like the Raiders. They go both ways. I don't know.
I think from my standpoint, I want the fans. That's the thing. I try to get. I'm trying to when I do the seventh inning stretch with the guys from Josh and St. Louis. Like I don't understand how more people can't understand. Like I guess it's just not in the backyard enough to where like they care about it. But I'm like, this is ridiculous. I mean, this to me is one of the more insane things that like I've seen in professional sports. MLB allow like they didn't even make them pay the relocation fee. I mean, they didn't have a plan. Like now they might not even do it at the Tropicana. Like they were supposed to have drawings for it in early December. They still don't have it now. You get my point? Like this is one of the biggest clown shows ever. And if you're investing into this stadium, do you really trust John Fisher? And I don't even understand how the MLB Players Union would allow this or aren't fighting back on it more. Or I'm not hearing more about it because why would you want your players moving around in like Salt Lake City? I don't know. Like to me, it's just, I don't know. Like how are these players going to how is this better for the players too? I don't get any of it. So I just think it's one of the most insane situations that I've seen here in a long time. There's been the relocation, but I know between the Expos, but that one always felt a little different. I know Expos fans are pissed.
Is that because it was in Canada? It wasn't in your backyard?
No, just like some of the there was a little bit more like there were the Expos, the politics. There's kind of like Oakland in a little bit too. Like they struggle with like helping like get a stadium funded. But I do think in this aspect, the ownership is so bad for the A's. Like you said, Butler's your biggest signing. Billy Butler. I mean, like unreal. 3 years, 30. It's pathetic, Tyler. So I went on a little long, but just the idea that it's Salt Lake City A's is insane to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know what you do. Oakland's as much as people don't want to put you, we just want to blame Oakland's to blame as well for that. I mean, Fisher's the biggest number one guy for sure.
No, he is.
But Oakland has some like.
Oh, they have more than some. They've lost 3 teams. They have some. They have something to do.
That's all.
Their politics are crap at times. So, like, I agree. It's still like this. The MLB is not helping this one. This one's terrible. So, all right. What's your loser of the week?
My losers of the week are the 2 young quarterbacks, not named Brock Purdy, who just put up a big shitburger. They played great in the wild card weekend. Came in, it just seemed like they were overmatched. Their teams weren't. The Packers were right there, but Stroud, Love just came back to reality, and all the slurping has slowed down at least.
And he survives. So I got for winner of the week.
A lot of that has to do with Jordan Love why we survived.
Yeah, no doubt. He was like you said, he just didn't make the big plays at the end of the game. All right, so my winner of the week, I got Hader get $95 million as a closer, pitch 1 inning. That's pretty good. Not bad business for you. A couple other losers, I forgot. I was watching the Hornets play the other day. These purple uniforms with the team, my gosh, just awful uniforms. Like they look like something like at like a CYO league or something. It's this awful type of uniform. It's one of the worst I've ever seen with it. So I had to throw that out for loser of the week. I totally forgot about that one. What's your winner of the week?
Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. He just showed up. It
looked you said it was the defense that played well yesterday, though.
Well, it was. The defense is that, but Lamar showed up too. Like the defense didn't give up a point or 3 points all game. They didn't give up a touchdown. So like the defense, Patrick McQueen and Rolando McClain are the 2 best middle linebackers duos in the NFL. And I'm a Niner fan, and I still think they're better. They're faster.
Who's lightning?
But the way Lamar Jackson played, he ran for another 100 yards. In a game, he has 3 of the 4 in NFL history for the playoffs, having over 100 rushing yards from a quarterback. And then he threw 2 touchdowns, and he just looked unstoppable in that second half. And then his interview after, where he's like, "Who talked a lot in the second or in the halftime?" He's like, "Me." And he's like, "What did you say?" He's like, "It would be inappropriate for it to repeat right now." Like, "Well, what did you say?" He said, "A lot of cursing." I respected the way he went about it. He seemed very sincere, and I'm not a big Lamar Jackson backer, but he really impressed me this week.
Oh, man. And he didn't wear what OBJ wore to the stadium. Did you see OBJ?
I didn't see that either. I saw that Lamar Jackson was wearing like a sweatsuit. It was like,
nice and comfy. You're just see Lou's like, was he going to a rodeo? Like 70 times good. So, all right, those are our winners and losers of the week. Tyler, busy week. I mean, every day this week I had a late night, so I had that going on there. So, fire alarm system going on over your house. So as we wrap it up here, T, are you able to watch the games today? You guys were you hitting the blacktop again for baseball tryouts?
No baseball tryouts. It's
too rainy. Yeah, it's raining here.
I'll probably hit the grocery store and watch some football.
Whoa, big grocery store run. I refuse to go to Oliver's. That's what
I love the grocery store.
Oliver's, I'm just not I hate, that's where my wife goes to Big Oliver's. So that's always, I've just never been a shopping person. I think my mom killed me on that one, going too many times as the older sibling, having to do too much responsibility. Wore me down mentally over the years. You're one of the youngest. That makes sense. You enjoyed it.
I went to the grocery store more than anyone in my family. And I hated it. But now when I get to make the decision, or some of the decisions,
come on, Ryan,
it's a lot more enjoyable.
Your sister didn't go more? She's even younger.
No, I always went.
Ryan, attest to this. Do you have the stats? Did you go more than
that? Ryan, I went the most by far. I was the only one who would bitch and complain about it.
That is, you were good with that. You were good with that. All right, I had the coaching week, but I had a late night at school and something too. So I'm on that hamster wheel coaching a little bit right now. So that's where we're at till end of May, basically. So all right, Tyler, it was fun doing the show again this week.
Absolutely.
Seawood, appreciate you tuning in with us, commenting in. It's good to see you on the chat here with it. Ryan, hope everything's going well with you. That's my sports. Appreciate you checking it out as well. Tonight, Variety Sports Network, Talking the Gridiron. If you can join us live, we'll probably be on about 6:15 my time, so 9:15 Eastern. Hopefully, you catch the end of Bills and Chiefs if you want to get in on that conversation as well. Happy to have you join us. We'll have the guys from John and Mike from Out of Your Falcon Mind, Jordan too. So that'll be exciting. Tyler doing that as well. So go Sharks, go Sharks, go Sharks. I wish I had that. Go ahead, T.
Wednesday or Thursday, check out TMB. It'll be a little more less positive because there's a lot that went wrong. We'll get into the ins and outs of what went wrong, what went right, and how they're going to bounce back. And we'll preview the Lions or Bucks, whoever wins tonight versus the 49ers.
Sounds like it could be a fiery episode on TMB. Positive Brian versus negative Tyler. We'll see what happens on that on TMB. So they get the win. The Niners, big W, they move on to the NFC Championship. The big story here in the Bay Area. All right, Tyler. Fatboy FadeAway Sports, episode 162 in the books. Been pumping it out, trying to watch as much. Hey, we appreciate it. I said it last week on the show. Like, you can't beg people to watch. All I can tell you is we just try to put hard work into it. I take time on the network, right? So those are the big things there that we try to do. So appreciate all the support we've gotten with it. Over the last 4 months, it really feels we've got a real push with it. So that's been good to see. So good to see a little work ethic. It's kind of paid off in some regards. So appreciate that. That's my sport. So all right, for Tyler McGurk, I'm Daren Breyer. We'll see you on the next one. See you, T.